planning a Disney World trip with a toddler, you probably heard two very different things. Some people say they're too young, it's not worth it. And others say you have to go to all 4 parks no matter what. Well, after taking my 2-year-old to Disney World and doing a whole video series about it, I have learned that both those ideas are wrong. In this video, I'm ranking all 4 Disney World parks from the hardest to the easiest to do with a toddler. And I'm also going to tell you which park I would skip and which I would do if I only had one day at Disney. Now, this isn't about doing Disney perfectly or seeing everything. It's about low wait times, fewer meltdowns, and actually enjoying your day with your toddler. Then let's start with the one that parents tend to overestimate. Hi, I'm Christina, a wife and mom of 3, and we're starting with a park that is the most skippable when you come in with a toddler. Disney's Hollywood Studios. And I want to be very clear up front. I'm not saying that Hollywood Studios is a bad park by any means. I'm just saying it's the hardest park to do when your main priority is rides and flexibility with your toddler. Where Hollywood Studios does shine with little ones in mind is actually the shows. This is a great park if your child loves sitting down, watching familiar characters, and taking a break from walking and waiting in lines. You've got the Frozen sing-along, Beauty and the Beast live on stage, the Little Mermaid show, the Indiana Jones stunt show, and Villains Unfairly Ever After, which I've learned that my toddler doesn't like that show because it's loud and kind of dark. But I still love it, so you never know. But most of these shows are some of the most toddler-friendly experiences in the park. All are covered, some are indoors, and they're entertaining and give your child and you a chance to just enjoy the moment without being overstimulated. And this summer, new excitement is coming to the park for young kids, like an Alice in Wonderland playground and a Mickey's Clubhouse stage show in the animation courtyard. So I can't wait to learn more about those. But the challenge with this park is that outside of those shows and character experiences, there are very few rides that your toddler can actually go on. Actually, there are only 2 rides, and my toddler hates both of those because there's abrupt movements, it's kind of loud in there, and just overstimulation. And most of the headliner attractions have very tall height requirements, long waits, or are just clearly meant for adults and older kids. So if you come to Hollywood Studios expecting a ride-heavy day with your toddler, it can feel really frustrating. But if you treat this park as a show first, slower paced, and maybe even a half-day experience, it can absolutely work, especially if you also want time for adult rides using the rider switch system, which you can trade off going on it. But ultimately, if you're choosing park space purely on low stress and maximum flexibility with your toddler, then this is one I'd personally skip, even though the shows themselves are pretty excellent. Now, let's talk about the park that surprised me the most with a toddler, EPCOT. So we're locals, so EPCOT is a park we visit many times with our 2-year-old, not just once on a big vacation. And because of that, I've been able to experiment and see what actually works over and over again, not just on a perfect day. A lot of parents assume that EPCOT is too adult, too much walking, or just not very fun for little kids. I hear that all the time. And honestly, there's some truth in that because this is the park you're gonna be walking around the most of your whole vacation. But after doing EPCOT so many times with my toddler, it's become one of the parks that I enjoy and can relax the most. And that is a surprise. EPCOT works well with toddlers because it's calmer, more open, and more predictable than most of the other parks. The walkways are wider, it's easier to navigate with a stroller, and the overall pace is naturally slower, which slows you down. And that's exactly what you want when you're following a toddler's energy level. You don't want a rigid schedule, you want that flexibility. And there are actually more toddler-friendly rides here than most people would expect, especially ones that you can do over and over again without a meltdown. Yay for that. Rides like Frozen Ever After, Grand Fiesta Tour with the 3 Caballeros, Journeying into Imagination with Figment, Living with the Land, Spaceship Earth, Finding Nemo, are for the most part gentle, familiar, and engaging without being overstimulating, which is why we keep coming back to them again and again. And you have a huge sea-based aquarium, plus the Encanto dance show, and a few other attractions around World Showcase. And my kids' favorite attractions are the playgrounds. Yes, Epcot has so many playgrounds, and I actually did a whole video about them, and I'll link that in the description below, covering where are the best places for your toddler to burn off energy while you get to sit and chill and take a break. But what I've noticed most about Epcot is that toddlers just have room to be. You can stop, snack, explore, and just kind of reset throughout the day. And that flexibility makes a huge difference on repeat visits or on a big vacation. Now, Epcot is not perfect. It's still a lot of walking, like I said, and it's not the park I'd choose if your main goal is rides. But if you're looking for a park that feels less chaotic, more flexible, and surprisingly enjoyable with a toddler, especially if you're planning multiple park days, then Epcot is absolutely worth your time. And it's definitely not one that I would skip. And if Epcot is the one that's most surprising, the next park is the one that's consistently the easiest day to plan with your toddler, as long as you don't try to do too much. Yes, Animal Kingdom has become the park I would recommend when parents are looking for the least stressful experience. Animal Kingdom works so well with toddlers because it's naturally a slower paced park. There are fewer must-do rides, more room to walk, and a lot of things for your toddlers just to enjoy and look at without needing to wait in long lines. Rides and attractions like Kilimanjaro Safaris, Nava River Journey, and Zootopia Better Zootopia are all very doable with little kids. And they don't require the same level of planning or patience as some of the bigger ride-heavy parks do. But of course, what makes Animal Kingdom really toddler-friendly is the environment. There's animal trails, there's entertainment, there's characters, and just watching animals throughout the park can keep your toddlers engaged without overstimulating them. And bonus, Bluey fans, Bluey is actually coming to Animal Kingdom this summer at the conservation station over at Rafiki's Planet Watch. There's going to be a meet and greet with Bluey and Bingo, some educational exhibits where you can learn about animals from Bluey's home country, Australia. Now, you're going to have to ride a train and walk a little ways to get up there, but I'm really excited for this experience to arrive. Bluey is pretty much on at our house daily, so we are so excited for this. Even my 10-year-old's excited. Now, all that said, Animal Kingdom is also where parents can get tripped up. If you treat this like a full go park day, open to close, it can get really exhausting, especially in the heat because, well, this is the hottest park. It's a man-built rainforest, so you're going to feel the heat more. So the way this park works best is a half-day experience. Come early, ride a few rides, explore the animal trails, maybe see a show, and mobile order your lunch at Citrulli Canteen, and then leave before everyone feels too exhausted and just kind of chill at the pool for the rest of the day or wherever you're staying, or have a good nap time in your hotel room. You don't have to get overtired at this park. And when we do Animal Kingdom this way, it's consistently one of the smoothest and easiest days we have at Disney with our toddler. Now, it's not the park with the most to do, but it is a park that demands the least from your toddler. And finally, let's talk about the park that is the gold standard when considering going to Disney World with your toddler. Magic Kingdom. Yeah, even as locals who go to Disney World all the time, this is the park I would consider as the most toddler friendly. And it's not just because it's classic Disney. It's because the park is built around rides and experiences that little kids can participate in. There are more toddler-friendly rides here than anywhere else at Disney. Rides without high requirements, rides that move slowly, and rides that feel magical without being overwhelming. You've got classic rides like Peter Pan's Flight, It's a Small World, Winnie the Pooh's Adventure, Under the Sea with Ariel, Dumbo, the Carousel, and so many more that toddlers can genuinely enjoy, not just sit through. And what I've found about Magic Kingdom is it actually gives you a lot of flexibility. If one ride has a long wait, there's usually another toddler-friendly option nearby. And if your child needs a snack or just a break, there's a lot of little pockets that you can find even at quick service restaurants or even the hub of the park that can just sit and just relax. It's also the park where toddlers can recognize the most characters. which makes it feel extra special for them, not just for us. Now, word of caution, Magic Kingdom can get really overwhelming if you try to do everything. It's busy, it's the most popular park in the world, and it requires a lot of planning. But if your goal is to choose the park with the highest chance of genuine toddler joy and the most ride options to keep the day moving smoothly, Magic Kingdom is still the safest and strongest choice. And by the way, if you're finding this video helpful, I want to invite you to hit that subscribe button because I have a lot more videos sharing with you my tips for how to navigate your Disney World trip with little ones, because I want to help you have the most magical vacation possible. Now let's simplify everything I've just shared. If I only had one park day with my toddler, I would choose Magic Kingdom, hands down. It has the most rides, most flexibility, and the highest chance that your toddler will feel like they're a part of the magic, not just along for the ride. If I had 2 park days, I would add Animal Kingdom. It's the easiest park to do well, especially as a half day, and it gives you a slower, less stressful experience that balances out Magic Kingdom perfectly. But EPCOT is the park that I would not underestimate. If you have extra time or planning multiple park days, this can be a surprisingly calm and enjoyable option for you. And Hollywood Studios is the one I would only include if shows or adult rides are really important to your family. It's not impossible with a toddler, it just requires some strategy and the right expectations. Like, don't expect to do everything because you're going to need to go at a toddler pace, not a grown-up pace. And at the end of the day, you don't have to do all 4 parks for your trip to be magical with your toddler. Disney with a toddler isn't about doing more. It's about choosing the right things and letting the rest go. Speaking more to myself than anyone. So if you are in the middle of planning your next Disney World trip and trying to figure out which rides are going to be the best for your toddler to go on, I actually have a free attraction guide that breaks it all down by high requirements and by park. So I'll link that in the description below. But here's the thing, even with the perfect plan, Disney with young kids can fall apart quickly. In my next video, I'm sharing the biggest mistakes parents make at Disney World with little kids, including a few I've made myself, and how to avoid them so your trip doesn't turn into survival mode. Have a magical day, and I'll see you there.